Hopefully this will focus. Queen of Swords, Sun in reverse, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And the Four of Pentacles and the Sun often point to younger version of you, as in inner kid or, you know, kid energy. But I'm assuming you're an adult listening to this, and that could be referring to your inner child, specifically. I'm sensing Two of Cups in reverse, Nine of Pentacles upright. Let's get some index cards. I'm sensing with the Queen of Pentacles energy in reverse and this sort of matriarchy energy, but it's not feeling the most aligned in terms of support. Maybe there's a maternal figure or just someone who's claimed to take that role in your life, that looked down on you for how you were acting when you were younger. But I'm getting the sense here, I'm starting to pick up on it. I'm getting the sense here that they never wanted you to be a child. It's like when you were younger and acting childlike, that was not allowed. You know, you were told to grow up in indirect ways, maybe not the literal, oh, grow up, but more so like, you know, you're gonna have to learn to do these things faster, or you're gonna have to keep up, or you're gonna have to learn how to speak your turn, or what, you know, just all of those sorts of things that are like to be said to a budding adult, but not a literal child. All right. That's the clear channel that I've got for you today, because with the Four of Swords in reverse twice, it's like maybe this was a teacher, maybe this was the principal, a librarian, just the neighborhood watch mom or whatever, just some sort of possibly feminine leaning, very likely so. And I mean, energies can be feminine without them inhabiting a feminine body, I'll say. Let's just pull some of these and see what we can get. Death magic in the reverse. Good. Any more on that? Fire is king. That's very interesting. I mean, I don't see much fire energy on the table besides the sun. With this Two of Cups in reverse here, I think that's what's relating to death magic in the reverse. I think it was supposed to be the death of a relationship or the death of a way of relating. I think you have a quiet fire burning in you that is just waiting to escape, I heard. Makes sense. But I think this kind of negative maternal mother or matriarchal energy does not like that you are self-sustaining and can do things on your own. I think that is the fundamental problem here. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that you deserved this ending that was sent towards you that did not work. It's not for any other reason than the fact that I heard they cannot control you anymore. So whether that has to do with finances becoming a different sort of setup within your family system or at work, a manager has displayed different behavior towards you from before, and you're kind of reassessing the fact that they think that they own you just because they pay you. You know, really reflect on that internal programming that can exist through a capitalistic lens, which has us feeling not only expendable, but extremely important at the same time when somebody gives you money to provide a service or perform a job. If you begin embodying a sort of well-off nature or energy that speaks to a self-assuredness that seems like it can only come from finances. I think this is like a mental energy that you're in. Queen of Swords reversed under the Nine of Pentacles. I think there's there's a lot of blocked fire energy, I believe. Let's look further into it with some more tarot. I'm hearing, I heard I just can't wait to be king. Excuse me. And I guess that's all I was hearing. I was hearing something else, but they were kind of like overlapping downloads. It's kind of coming in like that. Seems like there's a lot of chatter in the mind, possibly. A lot of chatter in the dream space. A lot of chatter in the head. A lot of chatter in the... everywhere. But I think that this situation and you yourself as an example in your life are showing that passion is the pinnacle. You're doing things passionately. All these fell out. I'm going to take them because there's not many out yet. Wow. Okay. Still no fire. Besides that Queen of Wands earlier. Passion takes all when it comes to energetic readings and output. I think when you feel passionately about doing something, it echoes and reverberates at a much louder wavelength or frequency. Maybe not a louder frequency, but a higher one, whatever you prefer. Much more than trying to end someone else's relationship. Like, obviously, I don't know what these monsters and these clowns think they're up to. We have the Hanged Man again in the middle of the deck. I don't know what they think they're up to. I really don't. Because with Death at the bottom of the deck, I think that there was something that you did for someone else that was so outrageous, I'm hearing. It was also courageous, but there was just something that you were able to provide for someone else that really insulated your place in their heart. I also heard isolated, but maybe like isolated you to them as an entity outside of what can be touched upon by the outside world, if that makes sense. Kind of like isolated within their protection of you. I think that's why this Death Magic card is in reverse and why that didn't work. And even with interruptions and with, you know, presentations about why you don't deserve X, Y, and Z, or, you know, why it should never be about you is actually what I heard. Never, you know what I'm like. I don't know who this mother energy is, or if it's like a boss or like a coworker or a roommate who's like, I took you under my wing, I can tell you what to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm still picking up on that energy of like, I pay you so I own you. And anyone who's worked in food service knows that people think that they own you after buying a $6 muffin. They don't. Treat your managers like that customer. If you've worked in food service, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or, you know, like a cafe. I've worked in different kinds of food service. You broke a curse? Like, I don't know, you broke something in half that was supposed to have longevity, and that was coming for your finances, but I think you decided, like, whether I have money or not, I'm going to feel like I do. And there's nothing... Delulu, my brain said. There's nothing Delulu about that, because stressing over money troubles that either will always be there or will stop eventually is the more delusional take, if that makes sense. It's like, just believe everything will be fine, and it just will be. And I think that people are upset that you're not catastrophizing your situation the way that they want you to, because you put so much love and energy into this other situation. You basically put all of that energy that they had built up around you over being expendable, being like a permanent employee to them. You were treated like an employee. Whether this is a boss or a mother, it can be the same, but they think they can own you because they've either paid you in the past or they have paid you for a service, whoever this person is, okay? You showed that you broke away from that kind of dependency, codependent relationship, when you put all of your eggs into the basket of your passion. and your love, which go hand in hand. They are not separate things. If you're passionate about what you do, the hobby that you built that knowledge base around from the beginning, those are two separate things, right? Like the end result and the beginning thing that started you on that path in the first place. So I think that you're doing things that you're passionate about, maybe for the first time in a while, maybe not. I don't think that's relevant here necessarily, but just trying to lead you on to clues as to what situation this might be referring to specifically. Whatever the case may be, there's been a lot of energy to uproot these negative beliefs that don't even make sense to you, that don't make sense in your heart, in your mind, in your eyes, in your head, in your soul. There's just a lot that hasn't made sense, a lot of projections onto you and about you, where you're thinking back to when these situations first started arising. Say you were bullied in school, or you were bullied at home, or you were bullied at a job. It's kind of like, where did that begin? You know, I think you're going back to see the root of each one of these antagonistic interactions and going, I was just a child. I was 7. I was a kid. Like, as the adult that you are now, possibly, maybe, probably, possibly, I'll say, as the adult that you are now, you can choose where you put that really good premium gasoline that you use to fund and, you know, expedite the projects that are assigned to you for the people around you. You can use that in a non-capitalistic way, and you either just learned that or you've been steadily building this practice. I'm hearing seize the means of production. You are not playing around anymore. That's what we got in the last reading, I think, was like, we're done playing around with the options and the possibilities. I think you're being shown that you are protected through anything. Your relationship, either to your craft, to your family that you're currently like around most of the time, or your relationship, or even a relationship with a manager that was actually quite positive, you know. All of these things are receiving a recheck, is what I heard, a re-evaluation, which is going on forever, right? How many times have you re-evaluated the past just to see where everything went wrong? But I don't think you're looking at it that way anymore, because you're like, no matter what, I unconditionally love and accept myself, so when I go into these memories, I'm going to go into them knowing that I've already understood for my situation in a way that helps me see it clearly, minus the manipulation. Okay? Right? Let's pull some more cards. Hierophant sideways, but I'm going to put it upright because that feels correct. You're a much more hardened version of yourself. I think that there was here's the Four of Pentacles in reverse again at the bottom of the deck with the Sun in reverse again. We're getting lots of double messages here. There's the Sun twice. And then here's that Four of Pentacles twice. That's wild. So somebody is really trying to put you down. Somebody is really trying to put you in your place. You know, that classic shit where it's like, who are you to put anyone in their place? And even if you're the manager or the CEO of whateverville, you're super in your lane about that shit, right? I'm not coming in saying, this is how you CEO, which I wish I could to a lot of them. But it's just this inequitable exchange that is no longer tolerable. And I'm just seeing in the past that people in positions of power have tried to stop you from giving in a devoted sort of manner towards your passions or your loved ones, has tried to, like, cover the fact that you can see things that they wish you wouldn't or couldn't. Basically, like, they're manipulating your inner kid. They're manipulating your inner child. And this is a very susceptible being. This is a very important being, and this is someone who needs to be protected. I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles on both sides of the Death card in the middle here. And what that's telling me is keep pouring into who you feel loyalty towards. And if you're ever running into an issue where you're projecting, and I'm just pulling from a past situation for myself as an example, if you're finding yourself projecting the situation that is really actually bothering you onto someone who might be involved by proxy because they live near you or something, but you know, or I don't know, you're so upset or triggered in a moment where you're going and you're not helping, you know, or there's just some kind of lash out, I think either in the past or what's coming up is that you have been able to stop yourself in the middle of a projection and go, wait, you're not the one I'm mad at. And that's profoundly powerful because this seems like a very multi-layered situation. But I think what I was just referring to, and as I said, it was an example that I had used, but it's remembering, it's like, yeah, I feel frustrated towards you in this moment because of something that's happening, but it's really because this person who hired me to do this job is forcing me to pull all-nighters when they could have just given me a deadline sooner that they knew about. And what's great about that story is that has happened so many times to me that there's no one specific client that you could think of. It's so many of them that have been completely disrespectful of my time. So in going back and looking through those memories and saying, yes, I could have gone faster, but they literally asked for it the next morning when I had finished the shoot the night before or something of that caliber. So it's like, this is an example that's working, I guess. It's kind of like you learned to start doing all-nighters at a specific point, and then you kept doing all-nighters because you were kind of like, this is like a little trick I can do now to like please customers into telling me to turn things around in an impossible amount of time, basically. It's not setting yourself up for failure, but I think now that you're not doing that anymore, you would rather pour into your life, pour into your creative pursuits, pour into your hobbies, pour into yourself, which is pouring onto your loved ones, or, you know, your loved one, or just your energetic field is rejuvenating because of it. I think that moment in the past where you've said, wait, you're not the one causing this upset, it's so important to what's happening now. I think that that's when you're pouring into, and I'm sorry to say that same phrase so many times, but like, this kind of feels like the backed up fire energy, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I just have to sit still now and wait for the things to get hot again, and in the interim, I'm going to swim in my subconscious and see if there's anything I can find. And what you've found is that this has been an ongoing problem, and that you are now able to go back into the past and look at every one of those situations and say, that wasn't on me. You know, I think a lot of the time it feels a lot to people who have endured circumstances too many times beyond their control, where they just think that they're at fault for everything. I just think that there's like a breaking point in a person where there's an amount of crap that they're willing to take from life, and then a bunch of crap happens, and then later they're like, I actually was the problem the whole time. And it's like, no, you weren't. You just endured too much and had no time to sleep. With those Four of Swords in reverse, you just had no time to sleep. Look, the Ten of Wands right under. You were just working for everybody who would give you $5. And I'm not saying anything about that because I've been there. And you are technically working for those people giving you $5. But the thing is, if those people are messed up to you, and then you go to your manager just to like blow some steam, catch up on the next rounds of duties or whatever, you know, just kind of reconvening, and you mention in passing, not even in passing, maybe directly, just like, man, it's been a little rough today, and your manager decides to double down and make you feel worse, it's not that a customer is not entitled to your attention because they're not giving you more than $5 for that muffin. It's looking at the greater environment and going, okay, if that customer was difficult and acted entitled towards me, and I go back to speak to my manager about that behavior, and they act entitled towards me, where am I? Where am I? Because I bet you those same managers will come in and say, do less for your personal life. You're doing way too much for your family. You're doing way too much for your person. You're doing way too much for your friends. You need to focus on us. It's like, okay, but when I focus on you, all I get is torment. Like, seize the means of production, whatever that means to you. Whatever you're producing, try to do as much of it as you can on your own. That's all I can say. And the other piece of advice is, ignore most advice. So the better phrasing would be ignore all advice, but what is this channel? What is this channel then? What is it? I don't know. It's a little pep talk. It's a little pep talk, if nothing else. But with all those examples in mind, and with all of this past history of you, at this time potentially revisiting and saying, that wasn't really on me to feel like I needed to continue to go above and beyond when I was straight up told that my feelings didn't matter. And I know that people love to have like crazy conversations about this exact thing, but if we are all trying to evolve and become better as a species and make each other's good dreams come true and not just the friggin' nightmares, we need to try harder to be better. And if you're a manager at a company and someone is coming to you for help, it is your job to help the workers help the customers. You see, if you shit on your workers, how do you expect them to give 110%? I just have never understood this logic, and I guess now is the time to talk about it. I've had a lot of jobs. I've worked with a lot of managers. I've had some good ones and a lot of horrible ones. So I'm looking out for all of you when I'm saying all of this. Be careful of your managers, be careful of who's managing you, and always pour into your life. Like, I don't care what kind of career ladder they're telling you you're going to be able to climb. That could all go in an instant. And they know that. People who work around you know how fallible and how tricky everything that they're balancing is. And it is not dependent on your ability to be perky while being abused. It's actually dependent on their ability to manage their employees. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that, because that is not all I have to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. For now. There's just something going on here that tells me that you have been pouring into something important to you more than you have been pouring into the demands made of you by people who don't love you, okay? I know love is love is love, and we all love each other, and we're all connected, and we're all, the collective unconscious, and we know how to love each other like that. Think about all the managers you've ever had, and then try to remember. You know what I mean? It's just... when you boil it down, there are people who will act like they care about you long enough to cut you, like, to get you close enough to cut you. And this can be from your own mother, or this can be, just from some higher up that was supposed to take better care of you. But this death card between these two Knights of Pentacles just tell me how much you've poured into other people is how much you are going to be poured into. And that sounds obvious, but I think what we're hitting on is the fact that you've poured a lot. I'm hearing without even realizing it. Because you've had clowns around you telling you you should feel guilty for sleeping. Are you serious? Why? Let's pull from this gold deck and see what comes out. There's the Hanged Man in reverse at the bottom. It didn't work. Whatever they tried to do, it didn't work, okay? Thank goodness. The Emperor in reverse. Death in reverse again, right next to Death in reverse. The Hierophant again, and I kind of felt like I knew that was going to come out. 7 of Pentacles. One more. Unless you don't want to. Oh. Knight of Cups in reverse. The Star in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what you've been going through. Like, these repeats are crazy. Just with the Sun and the 4 of Pentacles in reverse twice, and now Death in reverse, and the Hierophant upright twice. It seems like this is a really big case of you and another person being on the same timeline, but not doing the same thing. I mean, with Death in reverse here twice, it seems like there's something that is quite hard to let go of, maybe for you. Let's draw from here to clarify. What might be hard to let go of? Ten of Cups. I heard the ability to be happy. Let's not. We have the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. Don't go there. I think what showed you hope and love and trust was connecting with this person that you're more willing to pour into than you're willing to sell yourself above or before. I think before is the right word. Sell yourself before. Wheel of Fortune. That's such a spooky card. Ace of Wands. Because I always think of the Wheel of Fortune upright, I'm just like, oh cool, just, you know, a burst of good luck or whatever, but it's so ominous. It just means something big is going to happen. Something big is about to go down, I just heard. There's like this illusion, or I'm hearing a mirror, that you're some sort of player, or some sort of like, I'm hearing busybody as well, but I think you're just looking for a return in your investment with every move that you make. And isn't that the whole point? I just think it's so funny how people across different industries, it's not even in one area, will kind of condemn people for being ambitious. And it's like, what else have you been telling me to do this whole time? And so I think you conflated ambition with needing that codependent relationship with an outside figure. But you're finding that all you were trying to do was like measure your progress up against yourself, and people took that as you being too detached to care. I don't think that's true. And well, here's the Ace of Wands to confirm like that fire finally starting. I was trying to say starting to light back up, but I said stiting. That's something. I don't know, I just think your life reached a boiling point, and then there was an aftershock, and now you're in a flow, okay? And the flow that you're in is garnering love with those closest to you, and it means working with emotionality, and it means addressing the pain that your inner child has felt and still can feel, still will feel. Now we have the Two of Cups upright. That's good. I feel like we worked through one of the like karmic knots or energetic knots. We never got to this Emperor in reverse under Death Magic in reverse. I just think someone was trying to put you in a position you didn't want to be in. That's all. I think they were trying to muck something else up so that they could justify making this other move. And it didn't work because the move that they were trying to justify didn't make sense. And the muck never makes sense. Why are you bringing muck around? Ace of Wands reverse. And we've got the Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles. Hierophant in reverse, Nine of Pentacles. I think that this is coming into clear vision now for you. Even if they can't force you into a position that you don't want to be in, and even if they can knock down opportunities that you actually do want, the wheel still turns in your favor. They cannot have everything. They can't They can't wrong you, take everything away, and then punish you after because you didn't act the way that they wanted you to. It's just like, that's enough. Girl. That's enough. Eight of Wands in reverse. I'm hearing communication went blank, like it went down, and therefore Five of Wands in reverse. That competitive feel, that competition that can be so prevalent in like capitalistic spaces, I'll say, or just, you know, markets or just environments of a lot of people interacting and going back and forth. You suddenly going silent refuses any ability of anyone else to compete with you. Because you don't even want that. You just want to love on who you want to love on and work on your projects. There are some issues arising with how you want to show up is what I heard. How you authentically want to show up. I'm sensing that, like, something is rocking the boat. There's a group of people around you just rocking your boat. And I can see it here. It's absolute chaos, and it's silly, and it's a little dumb. But not because of you, and not because of anything you've done or said. It's dumb because it's futile. Tell me about this Knight of Cups in reverse here. Ten of Swords. They really fucking tried. I'm not even gonna... I was gonna say I'm not even gonna exaggerate. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say they really, really, really tried to... I heard disable you, so... I mean, emotionally, and then physically. And then I think, like, mentally. And I know that swords are usually mentality, or mental and communication, and wands are usually more physical, but that's just how it's coming out to me. And then what happened? The Tower. They messed with the wrong person. They messed with the wrong fucking one. They really did. And it's just something that they're gonna have to take that with them somewhere else. Oh. Got the Knight of Wands in reverse with the Seven of Swords. That is not a good look for somebody. That's the first Wands energy out here, and it's trash chaos. Look at all these cards. Like, I don't know how much you can't see. There's a lot of cards out here, and the only fire is this Knight of Wands in reverse with the Seven of Swords. This reeks of sabotage. This smells like betrayal. This... This sucks. I mean, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But I think we're finding out what happened here. I think there was a situation in which you were trying to continue that codependent give and take between you and employer, you and client, you and customer, whatever. And there was someone who saw you just kind of working in that energy and that interaction within yourself and got angry and got jealous and turned you over. And the Knight of Wands in reverse is the player. I think someone was projecting onto you what they actually are. This again, we said that in the last reading. I think that the obstacle was projecting problems that didn't exist. This is someone else. This might have informed that obstacle. This is all bullshit. This is all rumors and lies and just not worth keeping track of anyway, so don't worry. But yeah, Knight of Wands in reverse is a fuckboy to the nines. And I think they try to say that about a Knight of Cups, but the Knight of Cups in reverse is just like moody, kind of irritable, kind of ghosty. The Knight of Wands is not ghosty. He will keep showing up. He will keep wanting to hang out even when it's not fun anymore. And I just mean in that way of somebody that you're dating where it's just clear that they're not respecting your boundaries, values, or time, and they're just like, yeah, but we get to keep hanging out anyway, right? And it's like, not always. Maybe. That's not a guarantee. Again, entitlement to your energy. Five of Swords in reverse and the Eight of Cups. You're like, I don't even want to fight you about this. I'm just walking away. You went ghost. Okay, now I understand. They projected some strange things onto you about your character and who you are because you decided to ghost a situation that was no longer for you. And what I can surmise and deduce about that is that you know when the time's up. You know when the good is gone. You know when the getting is good. And they wanted to, whoever these people are, if this is both family and work at the same time, if this is two different overlapping situations, like Emperor in reverse again. I think this is happening on multiple levels for you. I think your family is acting like managers, is acting like old friends, is acting like old coworkers, is acting like old siblings, is acting like old classmates. I just think there's a lot of reflection and refraction and bouncing around going on in the collective and in the world. This is so many cards. I'm just going to take this one that was turned over, Six of Pentacles. Holy crap. I mean, okay. There was just someone who thought you were going to come for what they thought was theirs when nothing is anyone's anyway. Just think about home ownership and land ownership and how laughable that feels to anyone who doesn't own any property. Just think about how frightened people who own property are of that property being disturbed in ways that me as a renter, I can never understand. Why is that relevant to bring up? I feel like it's relevant to bring up because people are fighting over imaginary things around you, and you're just kind of pointing out, like, anyone can walk anywhere at any time, and if you want to take the law into your own hands, that is your own decision, but not everyone is going to automatically side on that side of you hurting people in response to their presence just because you own property. Not anymore, at least. I think this is a point of view that's changing because the wrongdoing doesn't start and end there. What about wage theft? What about, like, an inability to work with people's schedules and then punishing them for it by, like, deducing their lunch hours? This crazy shit that happens on jobs all the time. This is such a rampant tangent, but I think we're cornering the point the more we go. And the point is, there was an attempt to give you a position that you did not desire, and it was backfiring because you had left the situation that they thought that they could just have a carrot on a stick and just drag it all the way down the street and you would keep following. I don't think you kept following. I think you caused a tower moment to happen when you chose to prioritize your own personal life, dreams, pursuits, and desires over that of a codependent manager who is more entitled to your existence than they should have been. Or should be. This might be currently still happening. The Devil in reverse. You're just tired of it. I just sense it. You're just done with it. You're just dropping all of it. You're just letting it all hit the ground. It's not necessarily feeling the most positive right now, but I love the decisions that you've made, the way that you've transmuted energy and turned it around in your favor, the way that you've unbroken your inner kid's heart who deserves that healing, and the way that you're now learning about the difference between people acting entitled because there's money exchanging hands and people acting loving because there's money exchanging hands, or at least like human beings because there's money exchanging hands. You know the difference. I can see it. And you're trying to teach people how to be better through your example and through the things that you're doing, and they are blaming you for it for now. It's not going to keep going because it can't. King of Wands. I just think the fire energy is being very specific for a reason. I just think that there's someone going around saying that they disagree with you just so that they can get an upper hand over you. Some people just want to keep, like, kissing ass until the day they die. And if you are someone who loves kissing ass, you can just ignore this message, I guess. I don't think you do, though. That's not the sense I get. So there's someone going, I would never do that. And it's like, how convenient for you. People going around saying, I would never do that when they don't have the particular life experiences that you have to make you tired of something well beyond their ability to. It's cheap. But that's the difference between I hear you saying that's the difference between you and I. What they're trying to masquerade as a strength about your downfall is showing your strength instead. The star. Because that's how it works. That's how it works. I'm glad that star turned around. Because what I'm getting is even the person who is going around saying that they are better suited for whatever position because they wouldn't do things the way that you did believes in you. Even that person is lying because they believe in you. They're lying because they still model themselves off of your example, is what I heard. So let them talk all they want. You're picky, you're choosy about your decisions, and you're not going back to this codependent energy that you walked out of. And they can say you stole it, and they can say you ran off with whatever. You didn't steal anything but your time back. You didn't steal anything but, I heard, your mojo. The only thing you made out with is yourself. And that is a funny sentence, but you know, you made out with your energy. You made it out. Not that kind of making out of whatever. You know what I mean? Knight of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I think there are two other clown-like characters that are going to come out again. They're going to confirm something for you. Maybe, you know, who cares, right? This Knight of Swords in reverse has really been around. I think this is pointing to... Oh my goodness. Here is that Knight of Wands in reverse. Again, I think this coconut, this clown, teamed up with two other people to cause some mayhem in your field. As many reversed Knight of Pentacles as we have on the table, we have Sorry, I can't talk today. We have two upright ones in the deck that were just ready to fight for you because you were pouring into something good in your life. So whatever you're pouring into your life, that's good. This person is not doing that. So they can go around talking about whatever all day long. But you still have the power of being the supportive force. Maybe giving and taking with another supportive force. I'm not saying it's one-sided. But I'm saying the amount that you're giving is not anywhere close to what this person would do. So they have nothing to say about the way that you give. Now they have nothing to say. Four of Cups sideways. Try another deck. Whew, this is a complicated reading. Anything very clear and straightforward that we can kind of hang on to here? I heard more index cards, so maybe just one of these. Here's that Eight of Cups one more time, just to show you're walking away from nonsense to protect your inner child. Walking away from nonsense, protect your inner child. That's going to stay up here. I'm glad that came around like the star did. So if there's anything I had to guess from those coming up, it might be that your person or your partner or, you know, your coworker, their inner child was also being affected by this beat down on yours. And so theirs is at least coming around. So that's good. This is chaos. Louder, louder in reverse. Zip it. And just try to stay quiet. Try to stay quiet as long as you can about everything because I heard this from another reader on YouTube, I think. It's silence is a hatchet. So you're hacking away at these people's vulnerabilities, their insecurities. I see impatience here. I know you're impatient about it, but I think it's more important that you like steadily and lovingly nurture these multiple wounded inner children that are making themselves known and giving them their seats at the table. Let them come to the adult table. Don't keep sitting them at the kiddie table, is what I'm getting. Temperance in reverse for that impatience card, and the Queen of Wands in reverse. I just heard someone is impatient for your denial or something. What denial of what? What are we talking about here? I mean, I think you're impatient to get this whole process dealt with, and that this is confirmed by justice. You're impatient to get your justice. You're impatient for everything to feel right and better and like it used to, I heard. And that's kind of more of that death energy in reverse. Try not to go back to how it used to. Launch forward into how it will be. Not even how it could be, how it will be, because justice is assured here. I think that this was just a situation that was asking you to be someone who... again, who you no longer want to be or who you don't want to be. It's about this role that was trying to be assigned to you. I think you're being asked to be patient because other people are not being patient around you. And if you're in the mood for setting a good example, that is a good place to start. We have the Ace of Cups with the Hanged Man reversed. Association for dissociation. The downloads are funny sometimes. I don't know. But it reminds me of that other Hanged Man card where there's someone feeding the Hanged Man from a chalice. Let's find it. Where are you? Look, there's a little jug. Sorry, not a chalice, a jug. So feeding into that. It's kind of like these are at the same level. I think that association is being brought up to you. I think there are some who would not associate with you before who want to associate with you now. There's just something being brought to your mouth, emotionally, relationally, whatever, or otherwise. Strength. Index cards. I already pulled one. Maybe from here. That you did not have before was the end of that thought. We have the Emperor sideways. The Emperor's trying to get up. Interestingly, you know, it's not necessarily... This Emperor situation is not feeling like it's about a specific position or like a description of a position. It's more about... I heard the head of the family, so like a place in your family. I think by refusing this role or position, and this can all be metaphorical once again, or stretch across different situations, different timelines, what have you. The Emperor's trying to get up, so it's not about whatever they were trying to pin on you that didn't make sense. It's more about, I don't know, it's like Aragorn in Lord of the Rings in Return of the King when he finally just accepts that he is the king. You know, like he just like, fine. But it was always on his own terms because he had to spend all of that time wrestling with himself. And I'm sorry if you haven't watched it or read it, but that's the metaphor I can think of right now for this situation. That King of Cups in reverse really wanted to come out. I'm getting an odd message to tell you to tell your friend, partner, or loved one to cool it on social media for a while. Or just, you know, slow down communication, because I think it's burning them out, it's bumming them out, and it's slowing them down. However they want to do that is up to them. Not everybody likes to, like, ignore the goings-on. It's everywhere, though. It's everywhere about, like, social media communication, news communication, you know, like work emails. It's just all of the media is just kind of piling up and sludging down the brain and making them sad, because I think what your person is beginning to understand is that, like, healing hurts. There's healing pains. It's like muscle fibers coming back together, and, you know, it sucks. Like, so there's this inner child healing going on with them or you. I think it's them. And they think that they feel bad or depressed when they actually just feel healed. They feel healing and they feel healed, because it's not... Healing is difficult because it's tough to remember what you're healing from while you're doing it. With the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. Anything else for this deliciously long reading? I said wrong. Deliciously wrong reading. Oh my goodness. I mean, unless there's nothing. I heard there is no more. Let's just see if something comes out. World. Last card. The finish of a reading. The finish of a cycle. The finish of something. I think it's the end of, like, masking in order to gain toxic codependent relationships, or giving 110% where you only receive a late payment and some reprimanding. It's the end of all that. It's the end of all that. The World and the Star and the Tower. This is This is a moment. This is a moment in time. Or this was a moment that you're now getting justice for, but either way, you know you've had enough of what was not giving to you, and you're choosing to give somewhere else, and it is paying off. And it is paying back, and it is paying forward, and all of these good things are happening. So I'm gonna cap it there. I'm gonna end it there. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you. I've been told to say that you are special, and I hope any of this resonated, and I hope that there is information in here to complete old cycles that need to turn out and go away. All right? May they end smoothly for you. And I will see you around.